I just wanted to make a quick video today just about festivals coming up this year. I think a lot of people automatically kind of assimilate me with VLV because I did so many Viva videos in the past, and the reason I haven't done those videos recently is because as my kids get older, as our situation kind of changes and fluctuates, doing a longer distance trip like that just becomes less feasible financially. You know, as far as like, you know, time away from the kids and all that kind of stuff. I mean, my husband and I are just not in a position right now to travel much, and because of that, if we do get to travel, we like to travel with the kids. VLV is not the best place to take kids, even though, as you know, I have taken my kids on a couple occasions. So I don't necessarily think that it's not a family-friendly atmosphere, but it's not necessarily the thing the kids want to do. So if we do ever have a chance to travel, Viva is not the first place we think of, and because it's such a big chunk of change to go, it just has definitely taken a back seat over the last few years, especially since the advent of the Boogie, which gives us some of that, the satisfaction of that sort of event, but close by, where we can just literally drive over for the day. We stay at the hotel, but we don't have to, so it gives us an opportunity to spend time with music and culture without having to go all the way across the country. There are things about Viva that I miss so much. I miss the climate. I miss the other things associated, not just the music, but spending time with my friends that I only got to see there. Also some of the other little events that are associated with Viva there at the Orleans Hotel, the Orleans pool. I miss so many things about Viva, and if it were within my budget to go every year, I still would for sure, but it's just not something that's feasible anymore, and I've come to grips with it. I was really sad at first, but it's just not something that I beat myself up over. It's a great event. However, we do consider going every year, and if the lineup is good enough, we will consider it. We definitely will put it in the forefront and make it a definite priority if it is a good enough lineup, if we know our friends are going to be there, that kind of thing. But even our friends have not really been going every year. It is a very expensive trip for most of us. So this year, we looked at the list, and Viva didn't really strike me this year. Of course, all of the side events like the jive classes and the bowling stuff and the car show, of course the car show. There's a lot of things about Viva that I'm going to miss. There's definite things like the pool party and all of that I I loved planning my outfits every day and kind of shopping for Viva and all of that. So there are things I definitely miss every time I see those little emails come through with little notifications and stuff like that. But the bands did not really strike me this year, and I'm surprised by that because in general festivals tend to, I know they fluctuate, while they'll get really amazing and then they'll kind of go down and then they'll get great again and then they'll go down again as far as the representations of music, but this year I felt like the VLV was particularly weak. That is not to minimize anybody's taste or opinions about the bands that are playing, because I love music and I will enjoy almost any live music. I don't care what it is. But as far as making the trip and being super excited about the lineup, I would not have been this year. So the Stray Cats are playing the car show. That's a big deal. I've never seen the Stray Cats play together. I've seen Brian Setzer separately from Lee Rocker, but I have never seen the Stray Cats together. That would have been exciting. Also, Jerry Lee Lewis, we have seen multiple times. As he gets older, of course, it gets a little bit more dodgy as to whether you'll continue to be able to see him. And he's still great. He's still a great performer. He's very dynamic. He's still extremely talented. And I love the fact that he's still going strong. So it's great that he's there. Other great musicians like Mitch Polzak are going to be there. Paul Ansel and Number 9. I would probably look more forward to seeing Paul Ansel than anyone on the list this year because I have not seen him yet. He has played Viva in the past, but I have not seen him personally. My husband saw him, so I would love to see Paul Ansel and the Number 9. We really hope that they'll play the Boogie sometime because that's more reachable for us. But you know, Lil Mo's always great. The B-Stars are always great. Rumble King is a really good band. And then I really enjoy the Wild Showcase, particularly Giselle and Los Blancos. I was a huge fan of Don Juan y Los Blancos back in the day, 2010, 2011. And then I think they've split up and are now just the Los Blancos or Los Blancos, and they're still good. I love her voice, but I haven't heard anything from them in a couple years, so I'm excited to see if they release anything. It's kind of hard to find anything by Los Blancos online because there are, I think, quite a few bands with that name. So I'm hoping that we'll hear more from them. But the Wild Showcase will be great. That said, we will not be going to VLV this year, and I'm going to go ahead and start this video with the festivals we will not be attending. We're not going to go to Coachella. We never have, never will. But Stagecoach is a little bit more up my alley. I like some of the country offerings that are going to be at Stagecoach, but it does not compensate for the crap that's going to be there. And I'm sorry, I'm very opinionated about music. So I'm not going to mention specific crap, but most of what's playing at Stagecoach is crap. I love Jason Isbell. Adore. Cody Jinks is good. Gordon Lightfoot will be there. Josh Headley, Dwight Yoakam. Those are great, great musicians that I would love to see. I don't think I would like to see them in a festival atmosphere, especially the ones I haven't seen yet. I think there are better venues to see them in. Thirdly, Bonaroo. Bonaroo is local here to Tennessee. Seems like a no-brainer that I would go, especially when you consider the fact that the Killers are going to be there, and Muse, and Sturgill Simpson, who I obsessively love, and St. Paul and the Broken Bones. I have seen him for free, and he puts on an amazing show. His whole group does. Tyler Childers is great. He's become quite a name in the kind of alternative country category, and I love him as well. Great songwriter. But Bonaroo, I will never go. Never. I cannot do that. I went to Lollapalooza back when I was 19, 20, 21, and I loved Lollapalooza. And I was totally willing to put up with the chaos of Lollapalooza because I was 19 to 21 years old. Now, I look at it and it looks miserable. And Bonaroo, to me, looks miserable. I will never go. That is an enormous crowd to have to try to fight your way through. And they stream Bonaroo, the majority of the bands now, which I know it's not the same thing, but to me it's better because I would never want to put up with Bonaroo to see anyone, not even the bands I mentioned. So now for the festivals we are definitely going to this year, and I strongly suggest that all of you consider attending these events for a variety of reasons. If you've never been to Viva before, you should try to go to Viva at least once to see if it's your thing, because it's still, to me, of its kind, especially with the vintage aesthetic, it's still one of the best in the business. And it has so much to offer, and it's got such a great firm footing there at the Orleans Hotel in Las Vegas, so it's a great, great experience typically no matter what. But up and coming, as you know, and as I have promoted for the last few years, is the Boogie. And the Nashville Boogie takes place at the Opryland Hotel. It is a phenomenal venue. It's a beautiful venue. And it also is a great way to, I feel like, kind of encapsulate an event of that size, because there's room for a car show. There's room for all the different stages that they need to kind of compensate for the different bands. But also, or to accommodate, sorry, not compensate, but accommodate the different bands. There's room for vendors, but there's also the Nashville Palace, which is legendary honky-tonk, and it is a great, great venue. It is the venue I would rather see almost anything, especially country rockabilly related. It is such a great, great venue. It reminds me a lot of Gillies in the movie Urban Cowboy. If you've never seen Urban Cowboy, watch Urban Cowboy. It's great. I've seen it like 12, 13 times. But Gillies, it seems like that kind of honky-tonk, and I love Nashville Palace. There's so much room for dancing, and the acoustics are great, and even though the bar is very frantic, I feel like the bartenders are super, super like on top of things, and I never feel like I have to wait for a long time. Nobody ever seems to be in a bad mood. It's a really great venue. So a lot of the bands at the Nashville Boogie will play at the Nashville Palace. Now, I don't believe that the lineup with the Nashville Boogie is complete yet, but there are a few standouts. Charlie Thompson, we have been waiting to see him for a long, long, long time. So he was by far the biggest draw for us with the Nashville Boogie, and we are excited to see Charlie Thompson. The Paladins are playing again. They've played before. The majority of the bands that are on the site right now have played the Boogie before, but they are really fun to see in that environment. Giselle, for instance, is going to be playing the Wild Showcase in Viva, at Viva, but she'll get her own slot at Nashville Boogie. So I feel like if you really want to see Giselle, who is a phenomenal rhythm and blues vocalist, you definitely should see her at the Boogie. She has a great, great voice, and it just resonates through the acoustics of those rooms that they have available. This strap that you see is my phone. But anyway, amazing, amazing musician. So I am excited to see her. And then, of course, Deke Dickerson is at Viva every year, but he's going to be at the Boogie pretty much every year too, I believe. So if you want to see Deke, this is a great place to see him. He has a great energy in Nashville. And then Hillbilly Casino usually plays. The Planet Rockers always play. These are bands that I love seeing no matter what. So if I'm going to go to an event where there are a few bands that I haven't seen yet, I am also really excited to see bands that I know are going to be great and never disappoint. And so that's one of the things I really love about the fact that he invites people back every year. So yeah, Nashville Boogie is a no-brainer. We will go to that every year, and I love to try to support Jason the best I can because this is an up-and-coming event. It's only a few years old. It's got a lot, it's gaining its legs, and I think it's getting, you know, it fluctuates the first few years. Like the first year will be small, the next year will be huge, and then the third year I think was a little under the second year. So it's going to do that. It's going to go up and down just like Viva did at first. But it's definitely gaining its legs, and it's getting used to, I feel like it's getting comfortable in the venue. So people are expecting it, and I think that it just, like I said, it just becomes a little bit more a part of the territory, and it becomes more organic as far as the feel of it goes. Hope any of that makes sense. However, the event that I'm looking forward to the most this year is going to be Muddy Roots. Muddy Roots is a festival that I have talked about on this channel before. I used to do videos for Muddy Roots. I did a Miss Muddy Roots video. I've done videos about like glamping and how to stay glamorous while being at Muddy Roots because it's a nasty, dirty festival. It's one of those ones where most of the people camp and they don't really take advantage of the little on-site showers, and it is going to be a bit more gritty. And the music usually reflects that. It takes place kind of in a valley out in the hills of Tennessee. And so it is a place where there's a lot of humidity, and it usually gets really muddy, and it gets really sweaty during the day. And it's, I'm making it sound miserable. I promise it's not. The music is so great. It's just an atmosphere that is perfect for the type of music that's offered, which has generally been kind of blues and Americana, a few rock bands thrown in. But this year it's taking a slight edge, and it's moving a little bit more towards the rock and roll category. There are still going to be some more traditional acts there, but I am thrilled with the stuff that's coming to the Muddy Roots Festival. Now keep in mind, I've always had a deep, deep love for rock and roll and some metal thrown in there, and I am ecstatic about some of the bands that are playing at Muddy Roots. So this year Muddy Roots is the thing that we are the most excited for. We're excited as a couple, we're excited, our friends are excited, and it's definitely one that we are going to plan for with the most enthusiasm. So one of the bands that's playing, one of the bands that's headlining is Sleep. And if you know anything about Sleep, if you don't know anything about Sleep, they are a very heavy kind of doomy stoner rock band, and they are legendary, and I have never seen them live, so I am so excited. I will supply some links in the info bar below if you're interested in hearing of any of this. If none of that description sounds good to you, you probably will hate it, but it's a band that I have loved since I was in my teens, so I'm thrilled that they're playing Muddy Roots, and I feel like echoing through that hill, that's going to be exceptional. So excited. Also, Fu Manchu is another great kind of like stoner rock band. We saw them when I was probably about 20 years old, and I loved them, and so I'm excited to see them again. X is playing. I don't know if any of you know this, but I have a strong, deep, abiding crush on John Doe, and I have never seen him perform. I have a lot of his solo music. I obsessively love his voice. I love X, I love John Doe's solo work, so I have been asking Jason for years to see if he can get John Doe, and he finally got X to play, so I am so excited. I'm more excited about X probably and Sleep than anything else. So yes, we will definitely be attending Muddy Roots, even if it were just those two bands, but there are other great ones. There's a band called Ohm that's like a offshoot of Sleep, kind of a side project. There's Mondo Generator, which is Nick Oliveri from the Queens of the Stone Age. That's his band. Another really great rock band. And then Hillbilly Casino will be playing again. They'll be doing a traditional Muddy Roots style set, which is usually a little bit more, it's usually a little bit more high energy even than any of their other sets that they do. They do an exceptional job at Muddy Roots. High on Fire is another great kind of deep, like a thick, doomy band that's going to be playing, heavy metal band. And so a lot of this is going to be a little bit edgier and a little bit more grungy than what a lot of people expect from Muddy Roots, but I love this departure. I'm really excited about it because I just don't think there's enough festivals of this type out there. So as far as vintage goes, it's not really a vintage themed festival. I don't want anybody to think that it is. It's definitely not the festival where you get dressed up and put on your best, but it is a festival where it is really strictly about the music and it is super, super fun. So that's the one I'm most excited about this year. Please tell me what you're excited about. Festivals are huge in the summertime and the spring, so it's interesting to me to see what everybody's most looking forward to and why. So yeah, that's what I wanted to make my video about this week. I don't know why. I think I just decided that I had some styling things in mind, but I don't necessarily feel like styling videos are all I need to be about here. So hopefully this was helpful for those of you who maybe were considering going to the Boogie or going to Muddy Roots, and of course if you're local to the West Coast, then you'll be probably a lot more likely to go to the festivals out there, but that's my feelings on it. And yeah, let me know if there's any specific requests y'all have for future videos. I hope that this is not too lengthy, and I hope it's not too boring or disappointing for this week's video. And we will be coming back very soon with other, you know, like I said, styling videos. I've got one on my circle skirts that I'll be doing. I enjoy doing videos on fashion. I haven't done one in a while. And then there will also be some more animated angels videos coming up, if I'm not too old for those. I kind of feel like I'm getting too old to do the animated angels series. Y'all let me know what you think. Be honest, I don't care. Talk to you later. Bye.